High school dances. No, not like this. Please, no. High School Musical is a science fiction film, for all I'm concerned. I'm talking about proms, formals, spring dances, whatever. And just a disclaimer, all you're going to hear in this video is from a guy's perspective, and my own personal opinion. Let's get into it. First of all, you gotta get ready. Depending on the dance, you might need formal drip. I like to prepare with friends, because then we can stop each other from downing our entire reputation with a single tie. If you're taking a date, you're gonna have to pick her up, get a corsage, all that stuff. I like it when dances don't include dinner, because then you can get it with your friends ahead of time, and the event's a lot cheaper. In addition to that, there's probably gonna be a bigger dance floor if dinner's not involved. After getting ready, you're gonna cruise up to the dance, and some very bored teachers or chaperones will be taking tickets. At my school, if you have the grave misfortune of arriving early, you better have a friend. There will be about 10 people there, and none of them will be friends with each other. The awkward-feeling teachers just stand around like, well, get dancing. It's not fun. Eventually, people start showing up, and so starts the first half hour. This is when everyone's still showing up and complimenting each other on their whatevers. The guys are soaking their heads in an ice bowl and going, let's do this! Before striding over to a group of girls and humiliating ourselves. What fun. We all know that pretty soon some banger's gonna come on and we'll all hit the floor. While we wait with anticipation, I round up the boys and pull out our game plan. The target. That group over there. Sending one of us on a solo mission over there would be a suicide mission. So I begin assigning. Ronan, you take Melissa. Jimmy B, you've got Avery. I'll take Sophia. Bill, you've got Ella. David, you got Mrs. Davis. What? Come on, you chicken. I tap out, man. Then, we fix bayonets and charge. I often go first because it doesn't bother me. If you've seen this video, then you'll know that I'm not affected by female rejection anymore. This tactic is great and it's worked almost every time. The one time it didn't was disastrous. This adventure is what I call the Charge of the Light Brigade. It happened last summer. I was at a teen camp and they had a dance the last night. Most of the guys there were total beginners and had absolutely no confidence whatsoever. So they just stood around while the girls started asking them. Yeah. So I decided to get a group started. I rounded up a bunch of nervous guys, my buddy Steve, and I pulled out the game plan. I'd go first. It would be smooth and simple. So I led the charge. We approached a group of girls along the side of the dance floor, and I asked one. She said yes. We hit the floor. Steve was up, and the line of guys followed. I didn't actually see it happen, but after a minute, I noticed that none of the guys were on the floor. After the song, I found Steve, and he told me that he got rejected. Then, Steve made a big no-no move. He then asked the girl right next to the girl he first asked, and she said no. He asked like 4 different girls, all from that group, and they all rejected him. Somehow, they didn't want to dance, but they showed up anyway. While this was happening, the other dudes watched Steve repeatedly get turned down like a pancake, and then doused with maple syrup. As you can imagine, they fled for the hills. As can be expected, many men were dismayed that night. And don't get me wrong, Steve actually has riz, but... So that was the Charge of the Light Brigade. On a lighter note, let me tell you about one of the cooler things I've done at a dance. It was our winter formal, so I was decked out in formal drip. I'd been dancing a ton that night, and I noticed some strangers, invited guests. So I went up to them, asked them where they are from, etc., and because I couldn't just ask one and leave the other, I asked, who wants to dance with me? And they both said yes. Next thing I know, I'm on the dance floor with 2 girls at the same time. Don't ask me how I did it, but it was cool. Something you've had to have seen before is a mosh pit. It's when everyone who's been dancing all evening gets in each other's personal space and starts jumping up and down while the humidity levels skyrocket. It's awesome. Music's blasting, the circle spreads out, and solo dances get down. And that's when some dudes make history. It's often the quiet kid or shy nerd. Except that it's not often. They've been secretly practicing for months, and suddenly, they're in the middle, doing backflip spins. Whenever these rare occurrences happen, it's sure to be the highlight of the evening. And so, that's high school dances for you. Don't be boring. Go to one. or all of them. While you're at it, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to see my next vid in a week.